2, 1.
Green Light City, baby.
We made it, big dog.
You hear me? Listen, Indianapolis, man, with Green Light City, what we do is we give you the green light. You know, whether it's like in basketball where coach believe in you and all of a sudden he say, hey, you do your thing and everybody else work for him. Whether that goes for the ladies where they didn't got the green light from somebody that done finally gave them that credit card for the weekend. That's that green light. That green light's that go at its maximum and its most pleasure. We're going to be putting the light on the city, and tonight, starting off Green Light City exclusives, we got a guy right here who's the Hooper's Hooper. Like everybody who you ever thought was a Hooper, I always brings his name up as they favorite Hooper. We got Darryl Baxter.
My man.
What it do, baby?
My man.
So listen, Bags. The first thing everybody want to know is, how does it feel to be a killer?
Well, you know, I wouldn't really consider myself a killer because I always looked at people in the NBA as the real killers. Reason being because they can more than likely help out more people, keep everybody focused on what they got to do, and really can show them the way of really making real money also while they doing what they doing. The best thing they've been doing their whole life, hooping. But I never really considered myself a super killer, really.
Oh, okay. So you saying that somebody could do something with you?
Well, I ain't saying all that, but I'm just saying I always considered the NBA people to be the killer, and I never made it to that top dog status where I wanted to be, so I never considered myself the killer amongst all killers.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, I like to dig deep over here at Green Light City. We're going to get to the bottom of the ocean. So with that being said, so let's talk about some NBA killers, since that's what you respect, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But let's get a little bit more simple. Let's talk about some local guys that went to the league. So you
I already know where you're going with it.
Okay, so you telling me that you haven't went head to head with some guys that's made it to the NBA and on the basketball court itself, outside of the relativity of being able to be a philanthropist and humanitarian to the highest level, but when it was about what it was about, what was they doing with you?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie and say I never ran up against nobody who I really thought was way better than me, or was better than me, actually.
Okay, now let's be clear here.
Yeah, I didn't.
Hold on, which one is it though?
I mean, I'm just saying it's a difference between, for me, as being a super killer, like I'm saying, the top dog super killer is an NBA person, because that's what I came up off of. I came up off of watching Jordan and watching them. So if you ain't make it to that, that's where the top of the line killers is at, hooping wise. I ain't talking about
and
nobody
when you
shooting.
Ran into them though, what happened?
But everybody I ever ran into, no matter what level they was on, they couldn't stop me.
Okay.
I definitely got to say that. I ain't never ran into nobody where I thought, I never played against nobody and was like, he way better than me.
Yeah.
I can't even say that. And I have played against NBA players, and I can't say they was better than me at that time.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting because when I hear you go like that, what it make me think about is, you know, I start listening to people and start digging into the ingredients of what makes them. So it's kind of like, so this killer of all killers, and a lot of times in a lot of aspects, remains balanced in his perspective.
Yeah.
Like if your perspective was too like I'm a killer, you wouldn't have been as good. It would have offered resistance. You know what I mean? You'd have been too aware.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, hey, I know where everybody else is at, and I know right where I fit in. And it's just a lot of times it'd be right there who everybody else is talking about.
Right.
Okay. So take us back to the beginning. When was the first time you touched a basketball and really like start playing with it and enjoying it?
Well, the first time I had to go back to when I was staying on a curl line. I was dribbling the ball. I don't know exactly who I got my first basketball from, but I had a basketball and I used to just dribble up and down the street. And eventually I was just dribbling one hand, two hand, going back and forth. And eventually I just started going down the street, all the way down the street between my legs, without even hooping. I wasn't even hooping on no court yet. I was just dribbling.
Right.
I didn't even start shooting on a real court for years before I even really started thinking about basketball. I had a tree limb, 2 tree limbs on curl line where I was shooting at.
Yeah.
I'd be dribbling all the way down the street, come back to that little tree limb right in front of our house, and I'm shooting on that. That was my basketball court, the 2 little tree limbs.
So you had an imagination that was a real basketball
I just act like
court.
that was my basketball court. It was my basketball court.
So it was kind of like nutso in the butter rim. It didn't make no sense, but you was really replicating it like it was the real thing. Even
Not
though
being funny like on some nutso shit, but it was almost like that. At that age, I was.
Yeah,
I was young, so
yeah. But see, we looked at that wrong. But really, they did a study where somebody got hooked up to some neurons and some neurologists watched their brain functions, and if they just thought about what they was doing as if they was really doing it, the brain functions was like 90% the same as if you really did it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Right, so then like you really doing it.
Obviously, it worked for you.
Definitely. So yeah, I started off like that, and until I didn't play no organized basketball until I was in the 6th grade. And this was when it was with you.
Craig?
Craig, nah.
Huh?
No, 6th grade, yeah. This is at 55.
Ah, for real?
With you. It's the first time I ever played real organized basketball. And by the way, before I left, when we was the middle of that year, we was like 5-0 when I left, and then I went to Craig.
Yeah.
I ain't get to finish the year. We didn't get to finish the year together.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick.
And that's when we was young. We was
because
6th grade.
I had moved in out of nowhere, and by the way, I had moved in. I was living in Maryland, and I ended up moving back to Indianapolis. Eventually went to what was that, 55?
55, yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Creek,
Mr. Creek,
the
our old
perfect
coach.
teacher of the whole universe. Symbols and signs for conscious minds. There go son. But back to them days. I'm glad you said that because I don't know if you remember this. Shout out to Jamel Gant, aka Kane. Now he was a young, damn near Allen Iverson on the loose.
He sure was.
Pit bull. And I remember y'all going head to head.
Because I think he didn't go to our school. I think he came in thinking he could take some shit.
I remember him backing a lot of people down too. And I remember watching y'all too.
Yeah.
What was your experience when you done ran into people that
like
about what they about and they ready to try to back you all down, get you together?
Well, you know what? That was like
on that court.
That was like the first time I experienced that type of shit. Really, at that age.
I remember how you reacted. Do you?
I don't really. I just remember when he came, he was just like, man, he thought he was going to take my spot, and he thought he was that nigga. But he was that dude at the time, though. He wasn't on my shit, but he was that nigga at the time.
Your shit was more like you were just gracious with God's gift, and our shit was like. The nigga is shit. If we out working, then we're gonna get better results.
He was that dude though. Jamil was that dude.
Oh shit! You know how much heart you gotta have to come at the top guy and be serious about taking that spot. Like it was just gonna be a matter of who was gonna do what. And from what I remember, it was kind of like down the middle, because on one hand you was doing your thing, but he was so aggressive. Here come the fouls, and you be kind of like, man, hold on, like listen, man, it's about to be 1 or 2 things, and I'm trying to be cool because we hooping. So let me play it cool, but at the same time, you ain't gonna take this rock from me.
Right. It's crazy because I ain't really remember. I'm glad you refreshed my memory.